Morning of day 9 on the Wonderland Trail. This is my last day. This was my last night on the trail, and this campsite, I slept really well. It's on a slant, but I had a full day of hiking, and the roar of the waterfall is so soothing. And then, it's nice and warm in my tent, warm and dry, and it rained last night, so added a little bit more white noise. So because it rained last night, it's still a cloud outside. It's still inside a cloud outside. So I'm just trying to procrastinate getting up. I'm getting hungry though, so I have to go grab my food bag. Yeah, just kind of taking a lazy-ish morning, and then it's the big climb up to and over Panhandle Gap. Okay, I went as slowly as I could. I took a nice long breakfast, took my time packing up, and still nothing has cleared, which should be interesting for this trail. I can see it though. It's going through this kind of rocky riverbed. This fog is super wet. It's one of those things where I've got my entire rain gear on, and I get to start with a water crossing. Okay, I've got all my rain gear on because I'm getting just as damp as I would with a light rain without the rain actually coming down. Every once in a while it does come down, but most of the time it's just suspended like this, and you're just walking through this moisture. And because the air is so full of moisture, all the plants are completely covered in dew. I actually did not put on my rain skirt, so it wasn't fully accurate. Well, I'd zoom, look at that. Fully accurate. I have all my rain gear on, but by the time I brushed up against a couple of these plants, it was way too late to put a rain skirt on. So pants are pretty wet. This is really common, sorry, I'm going uphill, really common in this area. I see steps, and I know it's to prevent erosion, but I hate them. Some of them are pretty big, but the higher you lift your leg up, the more energy you use, more oxygen you use at higher elevations too. So it's a bit annoying. I like this one. This one's pretty big. I have 3 miles. Get up it from my campsite to the top of Panhandle Gap. So I'm just taking these sections really slow. I'm still having a hard time breathing. And part of it is I hope if it takes me a long time to get Panhandle Gap, it will clear up a little bit. So I would really like at least, look at this. This is so cool. Partial views of the surrounding area. I was getting them yesterday, and I was kind of saving them for today because yesterday was a really long day. You can see all of the rugged terrain around the park, and it was gorgeous. We'll see if I can see it today. And if I'm not going to get views that overlook stuff, I might as well get views of these wildflowers. These are just fields of aster here, lining the trail through the fog. There's some right there. Now we have aster and scarlet paintbrushes popping out of the fog there. Next up is some dew-covered western anemone. More things to look at besides rain. This is pink mountain heather. Looks very much like rosemary. A lot of the places in the park, the flowers are all wilted, but up here, still look good. Magenta paintbrushes. So I should be coming up on a view of a glacier. How much we want to bet I'll be able to see that glacier? I'm guessing not. I'm also guessing out here is amazing views of the surrounding mountains. I think this is a trail you have to do more than once because it will change depending on the weather or the time of year. Well, I certainly hear water. I certainly hear strong glacial runoff. Wide zoom. But I see absolutely nothing. I see a wall of white. Starting to get patches of snow of hearing through the fog. I haven't heard anything from hikers about the snow being bad, but Panhandle Gap is the highest point on the Wonderland Trail, so might have a snowfield to cross over. Coming up on some, if you could see it, really impressive runoff. Just coming out of the mist. It's probably coming from somewhere cool. I'm gonna stop before I do this crossing. Maybe I'll look at this because it's pretty. I did just encounter a clockwise hiker. The only other person I've seen out in this. Everyone else is either in their tent or lost. And he did say there's one snow patch, but it's not difficult. So that is a positive for today. And done. Yeah, that's perfect conditions. It was solid, but there was a nice soft upper layer that could reinforce your steps. And somewhere down here, I heard a pika give a eep of approval. Wish they'd show themselves. Sometimes you just walk by these talus fields and just hear the eeps and not see the actual little guys. But watch it. I just saw a marmot, so I suppose that counts too. Just about Panhandle Gap, and the rumors of sun were true. Obviously there's still fog. Probably gonna go back down into some fog, but wow, look at this. You can see a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of Mount Rainier right over here. But then look at this. Look at this dark, dense fog. That's where I just came from. It's so nice to see a little bit of sun though. And this should burn off. It's still morning. It's really cool. You can see it just kind of coming up the hill and blowing over and dissipating. I mean, it's a bummer I didn't get those glacier views, but it's still pretty, mysterious and cool to walk through the fog like that. As I'm sitting here, the clouds are rolling back in. I should note that the elevation is like 6,781 feet at this highest point. Well, I found one of the guys who was eeping at me. I eeped at him, and he eeped back. Silhouetted up there on the rock. He's been very loud. I can't focus. He's very upset with all the hikers coming by. That's a pika. Just because this is cool. This is snow melt right at the source. So very, very fresh water. Does look like I'm headed down into fog again. More impressive runoff from the snow and a log crossing. This one's super easy though. So I've come down into more of the meadow section. It's a lot more green. And then there's all this monkey flower here. And it's bright pink, so it really, really pops on these foggy days. Let me turn around. Try to go a little slow so I don't give visual whiplash. But it's all the way up this creek here. And then there's a whole bunch like over there too. Nice bit of color. Alright, I'm going to check out this sign, but I'm assuming this is the Summerline Camp, at least the group site, since I see a building back there. One of the more popular backcountry sites. And I can see why. Yeah, group site and then campsites are this way. I'm actually going to stop right here on this log and have an early lunch because I'm hungry. But like just back here was all those flower-filled streams. You got the meadows, and I am sure on a clear day you view the mountains. So very, very beautiful sight too. You can actually see things now. It's a miracle. I am switched back to below that cloud layer. It looks like it's actually breaking up over there. But yeah, you can see right at the top of the ridge here. That's where the clouds have settled. Switch backing down to Frying Pan Creek. And I'm going to be following that and crossing that crossing that once, but following it for a bit. You can just barely see it. You can just barely see Rainier. It's there. Sun's coming out and this is getting really pretty. This is a really popular day hike too. A lot of people are day hiking up to either Summerland or to Panhandle Gap. I Alright, coming up on my Frying Pan Creek crossing. It's a nice little cascade, and then it's out of view now, but a waterfall down there. And a nice log crossing that's well maintained because, ooh, dragonfly, look at that guy. Because this is a very popular day hiking route. So currently taking a rest on a log. The trail over here you can see has gotten a lot more wooded, and this little canyon I'm in actually has sun over it. The opposite sides out of this canyon are actually still foggy. So enjoying the sun and the shade at the same time. I think, regular zoom, I think the trail is mostly going to look like this all the way down, and I've got about 5 more miles. Is that a vole? Did I just happen upon a vole? Where'd you go, little furry one? Right there. I don't think I've ever seen one of those before. I think that's a vole. Coming up on one of those cute little log crossings over a tiny creek. I'm gonna miss these. These are fun. Especially because they're easy to walk over. They've got the top shorn off so that it's flat. Alright, hit a trail junction. White River Camp, that's where I'm headed, 2.3 miles. And this is the Frying Pan Creek trailhead out there. Leads out to the main road. I think that's where most of the day hikers were coming from. So approximately 2 miles to the end. Last crossing of the trail. It's going to be on the White River here, which is raging. A little bit of a slippery crossing. And at least I'm ending on a sunny day. One last little tiny glimpse of the side of Rainier. This river is raging right now. And the scenic bathroom is right back where I started. So this is the end of my loop. I'm drying my wet tent fly out on the table as I finish. So headed back out to the PCT. I'm not journaling the PCT, it's just a short section I'm doing. But that's it for the Wonderland Trail, unless I keep going on this loop, which I can't because I don't have the permitted campsites. The permits are really the annoying part of this trail. What's kind of cool is though it makes you want to come back, makes you want to see it under these different conditions, like maybe I'll actually see the glaciers if I come back another day. But honestly, really cool, really pretty trail, especially this time of year with all the wildflowers. So I would definitely come back to the Wonderland Trail, but that's it for this adventure. So I'll see you the next time.